Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Night with Dan. Something. I don't know. I don't have a name for this yet. It's not even a thing yet. It's just, hadn't done a show in a while. Thought I should come on and talk to everybody. Anybody who actually wants to talk. Uh, Lots been going on. So thought I'd catch everybody up. What happened with the Thursday Dan Wickline show that I've been doing for a couple years? What the status is of Pop Go the Writers or the Sunday night show, what I'm doing with Obsidian Moon, those kind of things. Also, there's a lot going on in entertainment, and I mean that's kind of always been my thing to cover ever since joining Bleeding Cool so many years ago. I kind of focused on the TV and the film stuff, and now I still kind of do that, even though that's going to kind of become what this night could be as well. So if you guys want to talk about, say, that new Superman TV spot that dropped today, or uh, Lanterns and why they're casting a 59-year-old Hal Jordan and a 61-year-old Sinestro, those kind of things, we could talk about that. Also, anything else that comes up. If you guys follow my writing, I do have a book that is currently coming out. It's on Kickstarter. It's Drew Ethereal, who I'm doing a lot of stuff with now. It's called Fallen Leaves. There's a Kickstarter for it right now. Ethereal's an interesting company. They do these really nice quality books, but they're expensive books. But they do them as kind of a niche publishing. So they're set to go to collectors and to fans of them, and not necessarily, there's some stores that carry it, but the idea is just to get them out there. And I like that a lot. So I'm doing my Morgana book over there. I'm doing a book called Crimson Sails. Like I said, I did something else called Ascension that I picked up for somebody else. And then I did an issue of Fallen Leaves. I've got another book that we're talking about, kind of a grindhouse post-apocalyptic thing that's still in the works too, called Hard Driving Vixens. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff with Ethereal. They're a good company, good people. Dustin and April, Chuck, and just a slew of great artists and stuff. So check them out. Look for the Kickstarter. I don't have a link right now, but if you look at my page, there's probably one. If not, look at the Ethereal Comics page, and they'll definitely have the link. Okay, so what's going on with the Dan Wickline show? Now, it's been kind of a domino effect. I've been doing the Dan Wickline show for a couple of years now. I don't even remember how long it is or exactly when I started, but I go on there and I talk about all the pop culture stuff, and it's a fun thing to do, but also it allows me to kind of keep in with the industry and whatnot. And but what happens is that the people behind the experience, the network that it was airing on, are also in the publishing industry. And the publishing industry just took a huge hit because Diamond declared bankruptcy. And now some publishers aren't quite sure how they're going to make their payrolls and stuff like that. It's going to hurt a lot of publishers. And, these guys had to cut back some. And while it wasn't so much that I got cut back, but the producing team on the show got, had to be reduced. They had to reduce the number of shows. And my show in the afternoon, it wasn't a sales show, so it wasn't really funding itself. So they asked me to step aside. And I would like to have done one more show, kind of a farewell, but anyway, I can do my stuff over here now. And if you guys want to join me on Sunday nights, I don't know how frequent it'll be. I'm still kind of working that out. But yeah, I had a lot of great followers over there, and hopefully they'll pop up over here. Now, I know this is not a great night to be doing a show. the fact that Kansas City and Buffalo are playing right now. Um, if you are a sports person, then that's pretty exciting. It's the fourth quarter over there. It's currently 22-21 Buffalo. Buffalo has the ball at the KC 41 with 4th and 1, so they're probably going to punt. But I don't know if they'll go for it on 4th down. You don't want to give Patrick Mahomes that short of a field. So that's what's going on over there. Hey, let's talk about the lanterns. Lanterns is interesting. Lanterns is a project I'm really kind of curious about because HBO is doing it, and HBO does great series. I mean, look at Penguin. Penguin was awesome. Was so much better than I ever expected it to be. So my hope is that it's going to be that kind of quality. They're also talking about it being kind of True Detective set in the DC universe. That's an interesting way to pitch it. But Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan kind of tells us where we are. Hey, Kyle. By the way, congrats, Kyle. I saw the post that you've got a relationship now. Good job. Casting Kyle Chandler as a 59-year-old Hal Jordan tells us that we are far along in Hal's career. It also tells us that Jon Stewart is kind of the newbie coming in, or the newer one. And the fact that Sinestro is played by Ulrich Thompson, and who is 61, I believe, tells us that he's not currently part of the core, or at least he shouldn't be. Maybe he is, I don't know. Kyle says, you mean a relationship with something other than work and food? Yeah, that seems to have happened. Good on you, man. So, yeah. So, where will we be when this goes? Is Sinestro going to be the villain? Is he? Because they're saying it's a recurring role, so he's going to pop up. Maybe it's flashbacks. Maybe Hal is using his training with Sinestro to try to guide his training with John. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but the description of the story doesn't necessarily make me think that it's going to be a Sinestro villainy story. Actually, the thing that kind of popped in my head are the Manhunters. What if there are Manhunters on Earth and they're activated and, they're the ones that are causing the murders? So the Green Lanterns are investigating. I think that would be kind of an interesting thing for those of you who don't know who the Manhunters are. They were robotic guardians, or the robotic soldiers that the Guardians of Oa, or the Guardians of the Universe, I guess that's what they're called, used before they figured out now we should use living creatures and give them power rings. So the Manhunters have a history with the Green Lanterns. It would be kind of an interesting place to start. And it would tie in to the lore and everything else. So that could be kind of a neat place to go. And I hadn't thought about them doing that approach until they said that Sinestro was going to be in the series. So, and Sinestro is kind of, it interests me a lot. I've been thinking about Sinestro for a while because I've done a couple of those Psychology of Villainies, and I did Lex Luthor and the Riddler. And I've been trying to come up with another one, which I wanted to do. And Sinestro is the one that keeps popping up. And I'm just trying to figure out exactly what I would consider his psychoses, or what his diagnoses would be. Because is he evil? You kind of want to say he's evil, but he's more Machiavellian. He uses fear as a way of controlling and protecting. He gets power to protect people by making them fear him. So what is his end result? Is it that he wants the power, or he wants to protect the people of his planet? But he believes the best way to do that is if he's in charge. So there's a lot going on there, but I haven't been able to figure out exactly what that would be called. I mean, it's a little bit narcissistic to believe that you're the only one that can fix a problem, and the militaristic aspects. So what I really need to do is sit down with someone uh, who is a psychologist or psychiatrist or has the degrees, and just kind of bounce it back and forth and see if we could come up with a diagnosis based on how they've written this character. And it's a strange character when you go back to it. I mean, he was the best Green Lantern, so he was the best at guarding his sector of the universe, but he took it too far. And you have a lot of military generals and stuff like that. I mean, it's almost the same as Jessup from A Few Good Men. It's kind of what Sinestro is. But again, what would you diagnose that as? What would Jessup be considered? So once I can lock that in, then I can actually do the research and connect the dots and the different things and, put that together, which is, like I said, something I've been wanting to do. I've got a lot of things I want to do. I have a script I need to do for Morgana 2. I have a essay I need to write for a book that I promised Jim Beard I'm going to work on, and I got to get that back to that. It's not a long one, but I got to get back to it. And I'm working on Chaos Game. Chaos Game, of course, it's the next Lucius Fogg book, but it's kind of a reboot of the series as well, if that makes sense. It's going to change everything and act almost like a new number one, a new first book, making the previous 3 Fogg novels prequels. And then this will be the hinge pin to what I'm doing with Obsidian Moon and how that's going to tie into Unravel and Brawl and Poseidon's Wake and all the other projects, Forever Shadow and Bloodlust, if that happens to be the name that we stick with. Kyle says, did you happen to read Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum 2 weeks ago? I have not. Is there something germane to what I was just talking about, or is it just a cool book, Kyle? So yeah, I'm working on Chaos Game. I know how I want to start it. I know I want to tie it into something in history, and I found what that moment in history is, and I did some research into it. I ended up finding this obscure movie on Netflix that ties into it called The Dig. So I ended up watching that. It was really cool. They introduced a new Lantern villain, the Gray Lantern. Oh. Okay, well, now I got to check it out. I really enjoyed Jeff Johns' run on Green Lantern and the creation of the different Lantern cores. So a Gray Lantern is interesting. So, I mean, we have the White Lanterns and the Black Lanterns and all the other colors. So what is it about the Gray? What's their thing? Blue is hope and yellow is fear, and he's an emo lantern. Kylo Ren, you show great emo. Become a Gray Lantern. Yeah. Jared Way would also be a good choice for that. Ennui. Yeah, Ennui. There you go. Great Ennui. I like that, man. So that's what I'm doing with Obsidian Moon. I'm still working out how I'm going to put it out there. Right now, the idea is Kickstarter. But I'm trying to figure out, do I just do a digital thing? Do I do a print thing? And if I do a print thing, do I just do print on demand through like Amazon and then have them print and then fulfill from that? Do I find a printer? I almost want to find a partner. I want to find somebody who will deal with that side of it so I can focus on writing and promoting and all that other stuff and have someone go, okay, this is a printer we can do. This is the amount we need to make, da da da. So I almost want a business partner on this, but I'm not sure, who to go to on that or, you know, how it would work. Again, a lot of this is just a lot of stuff I got to work out, and it's been pretty crazy over the last few years. I know a lot of you know, but not everybody, that I've been dealing with some health stuff. I had cellulitis in my legs. It got severe to the point that I ended up in the emergency room with horrible wounds on my legs that, yeah, I won't go into too much detail, but the wounds were down to the bone. And I've been dealing with that since, well, all of 2022, 2023, and 2024. It's basically what it's been. So, yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time. So I still go to a wound care center. The wounds are a lot better than they were, but they're not closed yet, and they're closing slow. So every Monday I have to go to the wound care center, and that takes a couple hours out of my day. I have a nurse comes by once a week to change the bandages. I am limited in certain things I can do. I've had a lot of mobility issues because of it. I can still get up and walk and move about and all that stuff. But, I've got these special bandages on my legs called Una boots that create compression and you can't get them wet. So if I want to take a shower, I have to put plastic boots on up to my knees and all this other stuff. It's not been fun. I had last year, 2020, well, actually 2023, I had a lot of bouts of infection getting into the wounds and stuff. Knock on wood, that hasn't been happening. But in doing so, I've kind of lost a lot of my stamina. So just sitting down and writing for hours and stuff like that I don't quite have that I used to have. I'm trying to build that back up, along with the work I'm doing on the side to pay the bills. Um, some stuff has come up recently that has increased the amount of hours that I'm working, which takes away the time I have. So I haven't been able to do much, of the figure painting that I really enjoy doing, or crocheting, and or just writing for the stuff I want to get out there. So I'm trying to kind of wedge my way back into those things. Um, Hopefully that'll be this year. That's why I'm pushing Obsidian Moon the way I am. I'm pushing the books for Ethereal. Uh, I mean, I even talked about, if you guys saw my post about an hour ago, about a dream I had of doing photos again, doing a photo shoot. I haven't done a photo shoot, I want to say, since before the pandemic, easily before the pandemic, maybe before that. I haven't had the finances to do that, and I haven't really had the physical wherewithal to do that. I'm getting back to that level. I would love to do some more photo shoots. And after the dream this afternoon, I have an idea of what I want to do, but we'll see how that works out. But again, this is all things I'm trying to get back to, and getting back to a Sunday night show. That's something else I want to do. Well, will it happen? I don't know. Again, those of you following the football game, the Chiefs are now up 29-22 with 8:59 going in the fourth. But Bills have the ball and they're driving and they're in the Kansas City territory at the 36, 3rd and 8. Just keep you guys up to date on that. But so, yeah, I'm basically trying to get back to that. Would I like to go back to doing Pop Go the Writers? Absolutely. I would need that's a show that I need at least one co-host. Well, sounds like I might have one there with Kyle with what he just said. So some form of that. So Yeah, Kyle, let's talk about that. Maybe we can make this a thing. So, um, other than that, that's what's going on. I wanted to talk about the Superman trailer. It wasn't really the big trailer came out a couple weeks ago, and we were all in kind of awe of that. I mean, I'm a little blown away by just the BS that's going on online, and it's been getting worse and worse. And today they released a TV trailer, and it shows this scene of Superman flying through this little rock formation, doing a barrel roll and coming out. And to me, it's a very cool looking scene. But online, you're seeing a lot of people talking about, oh, that looks like the CW and this, that, and the other thing. And, oh, this is so mid. And, oh, Snyder, come back and save us from this. It's like, what is going on? Why are people, I mean, I get that people have their own tastes and stuff, but there is a level going on here that just doesn't make sense. They don't want these shows to succeed. And a lot of it has to do with what's going on online and, people's opinions of this stuff. And I actually had I did this up, and which is weird because like I said, I don't actually have a current show. I'm trying to get back to a show, but I did all this research because I was bored. And I was looking at the Marvel scores over the different phases. And what I noticed is there's a perception about certain movies that are bad and certain movies that are good. And it's driven based on the loud voices on the internet. Now, you look at these movies and you look at Phase 5 and Quantum Mania, supposed to be horrible. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is supposed to be amazing. The Marvels is supposed to be horrible. And Deadpool and Wolverine is supposed to be amazing. Now, just looking at those, if you look at the critic scores, it kind of follows suit. Okay, I mean, again, this is using Rotten Tomatoes. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania got a 46% from critics. It got Guardians Volume 3 got an 82% from critics. The Marvels got a 62, and Deadpool and Wolverine got a 78. But my thing is that I don't listen to the critics, because the critics go in, and a lot of times they have a preconceived idea of what they're supposed to get. And a lot of people do that, but I trust the audience scores more most of the time. Sometimes the audience scores get attacked by, people. Hey, Ed, good to see you. People trying to send a message, like with the first Captain Marvel movie. The first Captain Marvel movie, the critic score was 79%. Not horrible. The audience score was a 45%, but a lot of people review bombed that movie. Another one that had a similar review bombing was Black Panther, the first Black Panther movie that most people love. It got a 96% from the critics. It got a 79% from the audience. Now, that doesn't make sense, does it? All right, so here are your audience scores for the horrible movies that have come out in Phase 5. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is at 82%. 82% of the people found it good. Guardians Volume 3, 94%. The Marvels, 81%. Deadpool and Wolverine, 94%. So the lowest one of those is 81%. Okay. Now compare that to the audience scores from, say, Phase 1. Audience score on Captain America: The First Avenger was 75%. For Thor was 76%. Iron Man 2 was 71%. Incredible Hulk, 69%. The best movies out of the first phase was 91% for both Iron Man, and the Avengers. Also, something you'll notice is that the critic scores and the audience scores were really close together in phase one. Iron Man got a 94% critic score, 91% audience score. Iron Man 2 got a 72 and a 71. Avengers got a 91 for both. But later on, when you start looking at, phase four and phase five, where the narrative has changed and people now seem to want Marvel to fail, you get bigger discrepancies. Eternals. Eternals got a 47% from critics. 47%. Audience score was 77%. Now, there are companies like DC and Sony who would kill for a 77%. So there is this online negative about movies that are bad, and it gets people not to go to the theater. But the people who are going to the theater and who are watching it like on Disney Plus and stuff like that, they're actually enjoying the movie, at least well enough to give it a decent score. One of the highest rated Marvel movies is Shang-Chi, 98%. Audience score, 92% critic score. That's crazy. It's crazy that we've got such a negative thing about Marvel since Endgame. But the scores since Endgame, Far From Home, 95%. Black Widow, 91%. Shang-Chi, 98%. Eternals, 77%. No Way Home, 97%. Multiverse of Madness, 85%. Thor Love and Thunder, which a lot of people agree was not a good movie, 76%. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, a lot of people seem to think that, you hear online, people talk about it being a bad movie or it just wasn't good. It's got a 94%. It has a higher audience score than the original Black Panther. And again, like I said, Ant-Man and the Quantumania was 82, Guardians 94, Marvel's 81, Deadpool and Wolverine 94. So the worst was Love and Thunder, and then at 76%. And again, there are companies that would kill for a 76% score. But the narrative out there is that Marvel's shitting the bed right now. Why is that the narrative? Are people really hating it that much? Or is it the people who have the megaphones are the ones talking bad about it? I don't know what to say about that. That's the thing, is that we have people who have built their business and their jobs around Marvel and DC movies, critiquing them, saying how it should have ended, finding all the Easter eggs and stuff like that. And they need constant material, constant content. And people don't click on happy stories, they click on horrible stories. You see that in the headlines all the time. You see that on the news. They do these horrible headlines, and that's what they talk, So that's the thing. If Captain America, Brave New World is, there's already people saying that it's going to be a horrible movie. It's been rewritten to death, all this other stuff. But none of these people have actually seen the movie. They haven't watched it. But the narrative out there is that there's problems with the movie. There's narratives out there that Superman is going to be a horrible movie. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why it's necessary to drive your audience by negativity. You can do this job by just talking about the information that comes out, extrapolating on it, like I did with the lanterns a little while ago, and then talk about how, hey, let's wait and see what it's like. And then going to the theater and watching it and coming back and telling what you think. But to spend months and years You know how many times I've read an article about how James Gunn wants to kill the Batman franchise? How he doesn't want Matt Reeves to do another movie? That's insane. That's not what's happening. Matt Reeves has said that. James Gunn has said that. And I watch people do videos that come out and they say that, oh, well, this is what this guy said, but we don't know if we should take him at his word. Why not? Why are we assuming that they're lying, that they're keeping stuff? You know? Benedict Cumberbatch came out and said, well, I'm not going to be in Doomsday. It was originally going to be in Doomsday, but they've changed the storyline since they got rid of Kang. And now I'm not in Doomsday, but I will be back for Secret Wars. And there are people out there going, maybe he's just keeping it from us. Maybe he's, this is the leak they wanted to put out there. Marvel asked him to say this. Jesus. Andrew Garfield comes out and says, I'm not in a movie once, and he is in it so that it doesn't ruin the spoil it. And now anytime he says something, people assume he's lying. I don't know. It's a little depressing, actually, if you think about it, because when I was a kid, I was, got my first comic when I was 5. And I'd go to the Five and Dime. Yeah, James Gunn did cast your Sinestro. I talked about that a little while ago. Ulrich Thompson. And again, as just to catch Krypton up, I was thinking that it probably means that we're farther along because Kyle Chandler's playing Hal Jordan and he's 59. Ulrich Thompson is 61, I think it is. So we've got older players. So this obviously means that these guys are going to be further along. Sinestro is probably already out of the Green Lantern Corps, started his Yellow Corps, Sinestro Corps. But yeah, that was interesting casting to me because it made me think that maybe the murder mystery involves the Manhunters being found on Earth, because that would be an interesting way to tie into it. Established Lanterns. Well, I think they may at least establish both the. They'll establish the Green Lantern Corps that has been around a long time. And they may establish the Sinestro Corps. I don't know if they'll want to try to cover the fact that there's all these different corps. But like I said, I'm starting to think that maybe they're going to lean into the Manhunters, and that's the base of the mystery. But don't know. That's just speculation. But again, an older Sinestro and an older Hal Jordan tells me that these guys have been around a while. It's not like they just found the rings. Which I don't know if I like that idea. I'll be honest. People my age, Hal Jordan is Green Lantern. Barry Allen is the Flash. Dick Grayson is Robin. Yes, he becomes Nightwing. Yes, Kyle Rayner comes along, and John Stewart and Guy Gardner, and it's so many lanterns now. But we don't want to skip over our histories that we've got. We don't want to skip over the years that we read growing up. Like I said, 5 years old in 1975 reading Captain America or The Flash or something like that. We don't want to skip over those characters and some of the amazing storylines that took place there just to rush ahead, because a lot of today's audience think of Green Lantern, they think of John Stewart because of the animated series, the Justice League Unlimited and Justice League series. And I don't have a problem with John Stewart. And I'm fine with them having them both in there. But again, I want the other characters to have their due as well. I mean, if you're doing a one-time movie, that's one thing. But, at least the Blue Beetle movie tried to include Dan Garrett and Ted Kord, at least a mention of it. So I like that. Krypton, if you had been here a little earlier, I have said that Sinestro is the one I want to do next. I've been wanting to do him for a while, and I'm just trying to lock down what my diagnosis of him would be, because it's a tricky one. I'm still trying to figure out exactly. That's the key. Once I figure out, like with Lex Luthor, it's a narcissistic personality disorder, or with the Riddler, it's a obsessive compulsive disorder, not just obsessive compulsive. Um, Obsessive compulsive personality disorder, which is a little different than OCD. So once I've locked in the psychoses or the analysis, then I can do the video. So that's the part I'm waiting on. But it is on my mind. So yeah. All right, guys. You know, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. If you take anything out of here, one is I am working on things. I'm trying to get back into full swing. Two, don't listen to the online idiots who talk about all the negativity. Just see the movies, enjoy them. You know, think about when you were a kid and how cool it would be to have Superman or Captain America or Red Hulk or however old you are on the screen, and go in and enjoy it for yourself. So thank you for tuning in. Good to see you, Jay, Ed, Krypton, Kyle. Thank you guys for joining in. I'm going to try to be doing these more often. Kyle may be joining me. We're just talking about that. We're going to work that out. So I will see you guys hopefully next Sunday. Enjoy.